Hi, welcome to the latest addition to my Inner Goddess Team series. And I'm delighted to welcome one that it was so well known, and weirdly, maybe because she's such an ancient one, I didn't think there were a whole lot of reliable information about her. I did find one, and you'll see it in the resources section on my YouTube channel. But I really, as always, I really welcome hearing from any of you who have personal experience with any of the goddesses that I highlight. So this one is Mama Cocha. And she is from the ancient Incan Empire, which is probably also one of the reasons why we have some kind of conflicting information about her, because once the Europeans came in and wiped out the Incan civilization, they, as often happened too many times in that kind of colonization, they wiped out a lot of the mythology and a lot of the origin stories. So she is still celebrated today, which gives you an indication of just how powerful she is. So her name, Mama Cocha, is literally, Mama of course means mother. Cocha is in the ancient Quechuan language, and Quechuan is both a language and a people in the Andes and in Peru and that part of the world. That again still is vibrant today. And in that language, Cocha means sea, lake, any standing body of water. And yet what makes Mama Cocha unique compared to other water goddesses around the world is that she governs both salt water, both the ocean, as well as lakes and streams and even beyond that. And I'll tell you more about that in a minute and why that makes her so relevant to people today. So she is, she really, as I said, she's one of the more important of the Incan pantheon. Mama Pachamama being probably a biggie, the earth goddess. Mama Qucha, who is the moon goddess. There's a fire goddess whose name is escaping me right now, and she represents she represents the rhythms of water in several ways. And the reason that it all comes together, she represents the cycles of water, which, again, we're always looking for ways that these ancient goddesses, and in this case, one that is lasted, whose presence is vital even today, that her significance to us is that she reminds us to connect with our own rhythms as well. She talks, when anything that's been written about her talks about this cycle and I love how poetically it was put in the big resource that I found about it, that the waters of the Pacific rise up as cosmic vapor into the area of, they rise up high into the celestial heavens where the Milky Way is. And from there, they fall as rain back into the lakes and streams, and then they return to the sea through those mountain streams. So there's that cyclical nature, the waves of water, if you will, which I just think is so beautiful. She is, and I love this too. So the Quechuan language, still spoken in the Andes, is where we get words. I always have little tidbits like this, where we get words in modern day English, llama, quinoa, what's one of the other ones? Jerky, like beef jerky, condor, are all originate in the Quechuan language, just because that's kind of interesting to know. It extends to any kind of water nowadays, so it could be a reservoir, it could be irrigation channels, canals. And in fact, it's why there is significance and why there is still a practice honoring her and some big rituals honoring her to this day, so that the crops will continue to be fed and that water will still flow from the streams into the irrigation canals. So she is, and she's not always anthropomorphized, meaning she's not always shown in a human form. She is, although there are depictions of her as a goddess, but she's often shown in the temples that exist, that still are, as a large shell that's filled with water, in which the sky was reflected. So it's a beautiful image, that one too. Now, some of the creation myths that are attributed to her is that she is actually the mother of the sun. Lake Titicaca is where her womb lies. Lake Titicaca is considered her womb, and the sun god from the Incan tradition, Inti, rose from that lake. So she's actually older than the sun, which is pretty significant. One of the other myths about her is that she was the consort of Pachamama, the supreme god of the Pacific coast. And there are various water and fish daughters who came from their union. And I love this, also a beautiful metaphor for the tides, because apparently their relationship was very stormy, and it literally would ebb and flow, and it was felt like that ebb and flow of their relationship was represented in the ebb and flow of the tides. Isn't that beautiful? So she governs the tides as well in that manifestation. This one is beautiful. She's also connected with death and dying, because it was felt that in the theology of the Incans, that the Western Sea was regarded as the realm of the solar death. So when the sun set in the west, it would go into the sea and each evening, and then it would travel under the water into Mama Cocha's realm, and then be born again, so to speak, the next morning in the west. And at that point, as the sun was dying, it was felt that the dead accompanied this solar swim, if you will, through the underworld, received by Mama Cocha. So that's another beautiful one. So she is still called on, or at least was called on until the early 20th century, for safety at sea by sailors and fisher people in the Andes, and also for abundant fish catches. I mentioned this earlier, in the highlands where water could be scarce, farmers still continue to venerate her, and there is an annual, see if I can pronounce it correctly, Yarka Aspi Festival, which is celebrated sometime in late July or perhaps in August. So we're kind of in that timing right now. That it was a big one, depending on the village. It was celebrated in different ways, but they were one of the practices that would happen in there too. In addition to all these very important rituals, is that people would bathe in these sacred springs that were called Pukwal. Please, I'm always open for people to correct me. And some of those were specifically thought to be directly connected to Mama Cocha, and that you could go and bathe in these springs to be healed of illness, of fevers, any kind of impurity. So it still survives in Peruvian, Bolivian folklore. These do. And she was considered, in addition to those, that she was considered to be, you can call on her for fertility, for any manner of ways to help you renew and to really, I kind of love the phrase, when you need some sort of renewal and healing, when you want to flow versus be stuck. So, anything else I want to say about her? I think that's it for now. I will share with you a beautiful invocation before we close. And also, I've been doing this more too, invite you to kind of ponder how this energy, how the archetype of Mama Cocha can speak to you, and how you can reflect on this energy through her presence. And so the question that I would ask is, where in your life are you being invited to flow rather than force, to embrace flow rather than force? And think about that, ponder on that. Notice where you might be holding on too tightly and where you can let go and let whatever's going to come to the sort of let go, let goddess idea. And here's what we will close with, just a beautiful little invitation for Mama Cocha. So you can close your eyes if you wish. Mama Cocha, Mother of the waters, flow through me. Cleanse what I am ready to release. Nourish what is ready to grow. And teach me to trust in the rhythm of change. I hope that inspires you. I hope that triggers feels like too strong a word for this flowing energy, but I hope it inspires in you the ability to let go and open up to whatever lies ahead for you, not with force, but with flow. Thanks so much for joining me, Deborah Roth. Check out my YouTube channel. You can like it there, subscribe, and you'll get more information. I have all my resources there for this video as well as many others. Thanks so much. Bye for now.